Saint Brigid of Kildare is not only the coolest of all the Irish Catholic saints. Move over, St. Patrick. What did you do? Invent the four-leaf clover? She's also one of several saints associated with brewing, and she performed plenty of fun beer-related miracles for us to talk about. Oh, that's right, I'm Emily, and let's get to drinking. As we dive into another beer myth, I'm going to be sipping on this Irish red ale from Rock City Brewing right here in St. Thomas. Today's story takes place during the mid-5th century in the Gaelic kingdom of Leinster, which is part of modern-day Ireland. Baby Brigid is born to a mother named Brichessa and a father named Dubthach. Brichessa is Dubthach's house servant, so this doesn't sound super consensual to me, not to mention the fact that Dubthach is married to someone else. And just to reinforce what a total jerk he is, when Brigid is a child, he sets her to work as a house servant with her mother. The thing is, Dubthach is a chieftain in the kingdom of Leinster, and so he is incredibly rich, and with Brigid working as his house servant, she sees his incredible wealth juxtaposed to the extreme poverty of those around her. And so she decides to do something about it. Little Brigid begins taking Dubthach's belongings and just giving them away to pretty much anyone who asks for them. Are your feet bare? Here, please take my father's shoes. Oh, are you chilly? Here, take these fine furs. It's kind of like Robin Hood, except it's a girl and she's like 8. Eventually, Dubthach figures out what's going on and he is not pleased. Enough is enough. So he decides he is going to sell Brigid as a slave to the king of Leinster. Dubthach packs up his carriage with Brigid and all of the things that she hasn't given away to beggars yet and heads for the castle with the king. Upon arriving at the castle, Dubthach tells... Dubthach, such a fucking dumb name. Upon arrival at the castle, Dubthach tells Brigid to wait in the carriage while he goes and discusses important business with the king. So Brigid just sits there and waits, and then across the way, she sees a helpless beggar. She takes such pity on him and she is moved to act, but alas, she has no belongings of her own. But in the carriage, she spies her father's jeweled sword. Meanwhile, in the castle, Dubthach and the king are discussing business and they agree on the terms, and the king wants to go out and see his new slave. The two men go outside and Brigid isn't in the carriage. When they arrive, she is over across the way handing the beggar Dubthach's bejeweled sword. Dubthach is angry, but the king is awed. He declares that Brigid's act of giving away Dubthach's sword is holy and says she shall not be enslaved. Although between you and me, it's more likely that he just didn't want a slave who's known for giving away other people's things. Anywho, Brigid asks him to be a nun and he grants her request on the spot because I guess during these times kings could just make someone a nun. So now Brigid is a young nun wandering the countryside, growing older and developing a taste for beer. Brigid volunteers at a leper colony, and the lepers are incredibly thirsty. They ask her for something to drink, some relief, and she agrees and goes and searches, but all of the water in the area is polluted. So she kneels down by her dirty bathwater and prays to God, and he instantly turns it into beer. The lepers are happy with their beer, and Brigid has performed her first ever beer-related miracle. Now, there are more to come. So she does this cool bathwater to beer party trick a few more times, but she also performs other beer-related miracles. Brigid goes to a part of Leinster known as Kildare, and she sees this beautiful plot of land and envisions a holy, sacred spot where monks and nuns come together to lead a simple life and brew beer, of course. So she goes to the king and she's like, "Hey king!" And the king is like, "Yo." And Brigid proposes, "I require some land for my monastery and convent where we brew beer. May I please have as much land as my cape will cover on the ground?" And the king ain't no fool. He knows that capes are small, and so he grants her weird request. So Brigid throws her cape on the ground, and it begins to grow and grow as she runs around, and it follows her, and it covers an entire big, I don't know how many acres, but I'm sure a bunch of land where she can create this big holy religious brewery. Ta-da! The king is like, what the fuck? But he gives her the land anyway. And the beer that she brews is legendary! In one tale, with a single barrel of beer, she managed to quench the thirst of 18 monasteries. That's a lot of monks to be split in a single barrel of beer. Amazing! So, the story of Saint Brigid was probably based after the Gaelic pagan goddess of the same name, but Christians used her likeness in order to convert some Celts over to Christianity. But I like this lady. She's like a combination of Robin Hood and Jesus, but instead of wine, she fiddles with beer, which honestly is a religious dogma I can get behind. So cheers to my Lady Saint of Brewing. Bottoms up. Thanks for watching another video, you guys. I really do appreciate it, and all of the likes and the comments and all those wonderful things you guys do for me. So I'll see you in the next video. Keep doing you, and I'll keep doing me. Bye-bye. Slavery is wrong.